Hey guys, my name is Rafael and I'm here once again to take some of my time outdoor today because apparently I cannot film at home with a baby, who would have guessed, and with a different setup with a camera and lapel mic, so things will sound different as to other video, but I've never made a video consistently with using the same setup, so who cares. So the reason why I'm here is because I want to talk to you about this guitar. This is a PRS SE Custom 24 that I bought on sale. Here in the UK they did like for £550 a drop sale for some reason. I don't know, possibly because maybe PRS is going to release new models or it's going to get discontinued. I don't know. I think that the guitar is always good. It's not like a computer or an iPhone or a smartphone or some technological piece that goes out of style or of fashion unless you want to buy a guitar with more things, which sometimes does happen, or with different pickups. But I liked this guitar before, and at one point I was considering buying it for the full price, so the $799 or $750, whatever it is. And so with such a huge discount, I felt like it was worth it. I've done the same before. I had a PRS SE Bernie Marsden single cut and I really liked it. But, you know, trades, guitars come and go. I didn't really like the tuners and the pickup sounds were not amazing, especially on the neck. It was quite muffled to my taste, and instead of swapping it, I just trade that guitar for a different guitar, but it's a story for another time. So I had tried a few PRS SE guitars and I knew that they were good. They have good finish and they have a single particular design that's not a Strat or a Tele or a copy of anything else. It's the same brand, PRS, that makes them. So I thought it would be interesting to have one, also because it would be a nice add to the collection in terms of what the guitar is. It's a dual humbucker with a mahogany body, maple top, maple neck and rosewood fingerboard, so you know the sustain and the attack and the grittiness that these sort of guitars bring to the table. It was quite pleasant. I already have a Strat and a semi-hollow. After many changes in the guitar lineup, the Harley Bentons and everything, I just decided that instead of having a bunch of cheap guitars, I really wanted to focus on having a few good ones. And although this is not expensive by any means, I feel like it's really good value. And I'm here to try to explain why do I feel like this is a good value and why you should consider this guitar, or we could consider this guitar. When I think about guitars, I always think about what other offers are on the market. So this one was for $550, but let's say that between 500 and 800 pounds, there's tons of guitars, there's tons of different designs, from Fender, from Epiphone, even some used American guitars. There's the Schecters, the Chapmans, the LTDs, all different styles. I'm not a metal guy, not at all, so I wanted a guitar that was not like matte black or radiant purple or anything like that. But other than that, there's great designs all around. What I liked about the PRS was the way that they felt and the fit and finish, and this is a big difference amongst other guitars that I've tried, because these guitars really are really well set up, not only in America but also in Europe. Every single one of them, before going to the retailers, have a setup by PRS, which is really important, and you can tell. I think that there are other brands like Reverend that might do this in America. I don't know if they do this in Europe, but if you search for PRS Europe, you can see what they do. So they check the frets, they crown the frets, they cut the nut appropriately, they make sure that everything's working fine. Of course, there's always going to be things that slide for few QC, and I think they said that they do 20 guitars a day, so like 10-15 minutes per each guitar, let's say. So there's obviously loads of things that are going to slip through the cracks, but that being said, it's one of those guitars that you can buy online with confidence that will come to you with a very good setup. For example, this one came with a floating tram, and it's a push-in tram. So let's pull it out. There's no thread here, just pull it in, and everything worked as it should. Now, a few things that you might take into consideration. This guitar, since it has a natural back and natural neck instead of black like some other colors do, you'll notice every single piece of separate wood. So here on the neck, you can see that's one here, and then another one here in the middle, another one here, and then the wings are something different, and the body, I'm almost choking myself. the body is different pieces, and you can see some irregularities. And I think even I've already cracked this one on the lacquer. Amazing. All the other thing that I realized, and I'm gonna take this strap because I look stupid with it. The other thing that I realized was that, you see this here, this bit here, doesn't this look strange? Like, this is way too thin for a PRS, right? Well, the reason why that is because the American models, since they have a flame maple top, this is all flame, so they stain this as well. This one they only stain the top, and even the black ones with dark colors, it's the same. They just stain the top where it has the veneer, which makes it look way thinner than if they had stained the whole thing. So I don't know if you want to put a veneer here as well, if you want to stain everything, just not to look it's awkward in a sense, very different. And also, what I've noticed is that on the edges of where the veneer ends, there's some lighting. You know, it's very light sometimes. It's not a clean cut from veneer to the maple to the mahogany. It's just like it was sanded off, particularly here. I'm gonna try to shoot some B-stock or some close-ups that you can see. The pickups, I think they sound fine. I'm gonna play a bit of a track, not a track. I've played before. It's bad as usually is, but so you can get an idea. But I quite like the pickups. They do what they're supposed to do. The sounds that I have in my head, I can quite easily get them with these pickups. Now, the difference between this and the American counterparts is that the pickups not only sound different, obviously because of materials and everything, but also they look different. They just look like normal uncovered humbuckers, while the other ones are mostly squared all the way to the edges, which is much cooler in my opinion. This one has the bird inlays. I don't see any problems with it. As I said, the frets are really nice, really rounded. The fretboard is really smooth with nice figuring. The nut is really well cut. I said really way too many times. In the sense that it's smooth. When you get here, you don't feel the nut, which is what is supposed to happen. Now I know that this nut is plastic. I've not noticed anything major. The tuning is not the most stable in the world. I don't know if it's just still getting acclimatized to it. I don't know if it's tram that's not properly set up. It could be the nut. Sometimes it goes off a bit when I use the tram, but it's not a perfect guitar. No guitar is perfect, and I'm still getting to know it. So maybe in 6 months I'll have a different opinion. The tuners don't feel the most solid. They do their work fine, I think, but I've not had to play any sets with it. I'm not a professional musician, I'm not a gigging musician. This dog barks all the time, such a tiny creature. But they are PRS stamped tuning pegs, it should be fine. The truss rod is not X key, it comes with its particular key, so you can adjust it, and it's very easy to do. And the other thing that I really like about PRS guitars, the SE, is that it comes with this kick bag, which is padded here. Now, the other thing that I appreciate about this guitar is that the electronics work as they should. The SE didn't really work as it should, and I'm gonna try to demonstrate that because, so if I play a D, the sound increases and decreases. I'm just using a very cheap amp here, so don't judge me. The tone is the same, so. And this is on the neck split, which is my preferred neck position, but if you put neck full, humbucker. So it does sound darker. This amp is atrocious, it's really bad. I don't know why I'm using it, but I didn't want to bring the katana all the way to the garden. The tram is, I think, and the splits are, I think they do a good job of portraying what they're supposed to be, single coils. Should you buy this guitar? Possibly. This is the sort of guitar that you're looking for. If you want a Les Paul, maybe buy a Gibson or an Epiphone. If you want a Strat, buy a Strat. If you want a Telecaster, buy a Telecaster. If you want a flat radius Ibanez with a thin neck, do that. If not, my best suggestion is go to a shop, try a bunch of them, and see what you prefer. Personally, I would say that this PRS SE is really good because it retains quite a bit of value, even more by percentage than its American counterparts, I find, because if you buy them at a reduced price, you can sell them at the same price usually. This one already has the new logo, unless they change it to something else, but it is the Paul Reed Smith with the small SE. This one was made in Korea still, now they're made in Indonesia, so if you can find a made in Korea, maybe it's a better buy. I've not tried the Indonesian ones, so I wouldn't know. And it sounds great, it plays great, it looks great, it's a great guitar. The question that some of you might be asking is, Raphael, why shouldn't I just use that money and buy a Harley Benton CST 24 and buy really good pickups and tuners and nut and electronics and call it a day for less than, or for the same of this guitar? That is a great possibility. I would love to do that. Modding is my jam. But what I will say is, this guitar has treated woods, at least that's what they say on the factory tours, that it has treated woods and not private, intellectual designs and things like that, which the CST apparently does not. How will this affect over time? I don't know. Also, if you want to sell that CST modded, you'll have a much harder time. It might sound better, it might even play better, which, you know, the fretwork on this is really good, and this is rosewood, it's not Jatoba or some other wood, or rosacea or anything like that. It's a matter of choice, really. You'll know that you have a PRS, and you'll know that you have a Harley Benton. And also, they don't do it in this color, which is my defense, and some of the other colors that PRS does. This feels like a really quality guitar. For some money, for some people, for me, it's a considerable amount of money, you know. In some countries more than others. Across Europe, 550 pounds, 600 euros, or even the full 800 euros that they ask, for example, in Portugal, is too expensive. And I understand that. In that case, go for the CST and you'll have a great time, I'm sure. If you can afford this one, or even if you can afford an American one, great, great. I'm just here to tell you that this is a good guitar, and if you can buy it on sale or used, it's a great deal. For the full price, there will be other considerations that I will do. There will be the American counterparts, such as Fender, Performer used or special or used American, or a used Gibson. But again, this has the headstock design with the 3 on each side, but the strings come straighter. It is the PRS design of the double cut with the 25-inch scale. The trem is really nice and comfortable for palm muting, so it's a really nice guitar. You can just, like Paul said, you can pick it up and take it to a gig and play and be happy and not have to worry. Some other guitars, you'll have to buy them and check what's going on, what's happening, if it has all the accessories, if it's gig ready or not. I'm really happy with this one. It might change. It's not perfect, as any guitar is, and I think for what it costs, and from what I hear that people pay way more and then get really disappointed, this is very reasonable. It's a very different guitar from my previous reviews, and I hope you like it. I'm sorry for all the noises and wind and stuff like that, but it's the best I can do. I have a 1-year-old daughter, and I'm expected to look after her in the house, so I ran outside to try to do this here. Thank you very much for watching. If there's any questions, as always, feel free to leave them. I'll do my best to try to answer. It's been great having you here with me. I really appreciate all the comments, and it's a nice community of people, the guitar community, most of the time. And if you don't like my playing or myself, I understand. Alright, thank you very much and have a nice day. Stay safe and all that.